Okay, Facebook families and friends, I am now in my panel box and I am now showing you the circuits that were wired from the transfer box into the circuits, or primarily the critical circuits that's going to run from that generator. I am now recording this and showing you that you see the primary circuits that I'm using, basically the refrigerator. If you look closely, you'll see orange caps coming from the bottom portion. That's the line ends coming from the transfer box. Anyway, if you look at them caps, there are the circuits that are capped off, and them are the lines that are running the primary circuits for the transfer box into the panel box here. Anyway, if you look closely, you'll see that I'm not using anything of the double poles, which was going to be used like the dryer and the wash machine, which I don't really critically think that's necessary. Not doing really a power outage in my opinion. But anyway, we're using ours to run the primary circuits like the fan motor for the furnace. I have that wired. I have the circuits for the lighting. And this transfer box needs to be ran on only 15 and only 20 amp circuits. If you run anything over that on a double pole, that would be considered higher ampage. So I ran it only for the 15 and 20 circuits. And on the 6th circuit transfer box, I'd use that circuits only. Anyway, in the video you can see where I'm panning it out and showing you what the orange caps is. That's the lines that are capped off for the primary circuits. And another thing on this transfer box, if the power does say to come back on, it don't have to worry about any backbeat, because the only circuits that are being used is what the transfer box is pushing through to run. And that will not be any problem to any utility worker, because that's what our manual transfer switch is used for, to protect utility workers from any of that return power. So this box is an old box. I'm getting ready to upgrade it to more of a Honeywell or Siemens. But anyway, this box is very well protected. It is circuitly controlled. You can see only another thing when you're doing these kind of procedures and you don't know what you're doing. If you look at this side of the panel box, I'm putting my finger toward right here. You do not want to touch anything there, because when you actually turn off your main breaker, all of this over here is still considered live. So be careful and definitely know what you're doing before doing any of this kind of work, because you can really kill yourself or get very, very hurt. Trust me, you know what I'm talking about. Next to the circuits are all protected, and I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna show you now the main. Now I'm gonna go over here now and I'm gonna show you the manual transfer switch I installed. This is the main transfer switch. It is actually a company makes them called Reliance, and it's a very safe and effective system. You see where I can show you as I'm going down the line and show you the blind that was attached from the outside source. You see where I got it going up, and if you follow the line, you see it's connected to the transfer switch from the inlet box on the outside. Now these breakers up here I am pointing to are circuit breakers. If there was, say, an overload, you can press these circuits. But if you look at it, it is a 6-circuit manual transfer, and these are the toddlers during a power outage. What's going to be 90% done is when the power fails. Now I'm going to try to pan that in a little bit more good so you can see it. Now the toddlers are in the line position. You can see that. That means that everything is running from the utility into the house. Now if the power was to fail, now what's going to happen, you will go out, you will start your generator, you will get your generator started, warm it up, and what you're going to do is you're going to come back in once the generator is warm. You're going to take these toddlers from that position, and each one, let me pan out for a minute, you see they are in the line position. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go left to right, because you see a circuit A, B, C, and D, and F. I mean A, B, C, D, and E, and F. Now what you're going to do is you're going to tie them up to the gen mode, which would be generator, and then from then on, everything that the primary circuits that you wired into the panel box are going to be running them critical circuits, which, like I said, If anything happened, I'm going to pan back out. Now you see that it has watt meters. Now the watt meters are what they're going to show you what kind of load. The generator has a left and right position, which means it loads. If anything you want to make sure you're doing on the watt meters is you do not want to you see the ABC and the D and E up. Now what that means, whatever loads you're pulling, each of these breakers right here, each of these watt meters are going to show you what loads you're pulling on the left side and the right side. Now, what you want to make sure you're doing is not to overload any of them circuits. So, when you start the installation procedure, make sure you read through the critical circuits, because these are going to show you what loads you're actually running. And what you want to make sure when you're doing any of these kind of circuits is keep making sure your generator, the power you're using off of it. Now, we're running approximately with the propane about 3,500 watts, and if anything in these watts are pulling more than you need to be seeing on them, these circuit breakers will kick off. So my thing is I'm trying to show you guys on this type of work and putting back up portable generators. Sorry for the focusing, but anyway, you can see now that is the manual transfer switch box I installed. I put it in myself. That feeds right into, like I said, the circuit breakers here. You can see the load center. And like I said, the caps, orange, and actually I had a yellow one, which is okay. I fed into the breakers that are running primarily the critical circuits that we're using. Remember, as I always said, if you don't know what you're doing, do not try to do this yourself and get a service personnel as a qualified electrician to do it for you. Might be expensive, but you'll be safe in the long run. So my installation, I'm trying to finish up here, and I will cut the video off. But anyway, this is the manual transfer switch wired in from that generator shed I originally showed you the earlier video. But you can see everything is done correctly. The wires, the breakers. And from then on, these things will help you in the future if you cannot afford the big expensive model, the Generacs on the market. But the generators that they are selling on the market today are very good. They will run efficiently as long as you do the right things. If you do the wrong things, then it can be very costly and very dangerous. But in my opinion, these things do work well. Just make sure before you do any of these things, check with a qualified personnel or electrician to do this for you or tell you. Otherwise, this is going to be my conclusion to my video, and I hope you guys have a nice day, and I hope some of this video helped you to understand about portable generators and hookup systems and how they work. Have a nice day, and goodbye.